don't know what all that stuff's for because it kind of just looks like a pile of garbage. Well, at the end of today's video, this stuff is going to become the ultimate internal aquarium filter. I hope you're ready. What's going on, everybody? Forrest here, and welcome to the fish room. Now, no aquarium filter is absolutely perfect. That includes my moving bed sponge filter hybrids. They're fantastic. I love them, but I've always wondered, how do I make them better? So today, we're gonna take this design and try and improve on it and make a more effective aquarium filter for my aquariums and hopefully your aquariums. So the challenge involved in improving our DIY moving bed filter is to take a filter that removes ammonia and nitrite very effectively and also have it remove nitrate. So the easiest and most effective way to remove nitrates from your aquarium is, of course, the conventional water change. You take some water out, you put some fresh water in, it dilutes the amount of nitrates in your aquarium. And will today's modification remove the need for water changes? Absolutely not. But what it's going to do is it's going to help your aquarium in terms of some of those nitrates that you're removing through water changes are going to be removed by your filter. So when you go to do water changes, maybe there's a little bit less nitrates to dilute within your aquarium. To improve on this filter, to also filter out some nitrates, we need to add a space where we can put media that will grow anaerobic bacteria or denitrifying bacteria that will filter out the nitrates. Now, if you're looking to grow some anaerobic bacteria, you need to look at a media maybe like a ceramic or a sintered glass media. Both of those types of media have a high volume of internal surface area, which will allow the bacteria to grow in an environment that is devoid of oxygen, thus giving a place for anaerobic bacteria to grow and filter out some nitrate. I know you're probably sick and tired of hearing all this technical crap about filtration, medias, and bacterias. The real question and real purpose of this video is to show you how to make an awesome filter. And let's get to it. First step in this process is to build our base. The first thing we're going to need is our square tile. Next, we're going to need our 3/4 inch coupling. We're going to also need our 3/4 inch to 1/2 inch reducing fitting, the ever important super glue, and a drill. So we're going to take our 3/4 inch fitting and our 3/4 to 1/2 inch reducing fitting. The reducing fitting goes into the coupling. We're just going to stick that in there nice and snug, just like that. Next step to allow for water flow is to take that same piece and your drill, and we are to drill holes from 3/4 of the way all the way down to the base. This will allow water flow through the sponge and into the filter. Next up, we're going to take our drilled and fitted PVC, our super glue, and we're going to attach that to the tile base. Now, you don't need a lot of super glue, just a little bit works. We're just going to put a little bit on the bottom of this fitting. Like so. Attach it to the base, holding it firmly for about 10 to 15 seconds. Once we're done with that, this needs to be set aside. It needs to cure for at least 24 hours before entering the water. Otherwise, the base is complete. Next up, we're going to take both of our bottles, and then we're going to take our drill and drill holes on the bottom of each bottle on all 5 of these spots. This is going to allow for air and water to go all the way through the bottle and exit out the top. One of the bottles, we're going to drill an additional hole right about there near the neck of the bottle. This is where we're going to be running our airline tubing to supply our air for our filter. Now for this hole specifically, make sure you use a drill bit that is only slightly smaller than standard airline tubing. I like to cut my tubing at an angle like so. You want that slightly smaller than the tubing so that the tubing fits in there snugly and doesn't get pulled out. So the next step is to take our bottle that we pre-drilled for our airline. This bottle needs to get filled with our K1 Kaldness, our moving bed filter media. To make that just a little bit easier, since this bottle eventually is going to get cut anyways, we're going to cut this bottle in half. We're going to take our half a bottle, stick it in our sponge like this, and this will just make it a little bit easier to get our K1 into the bottom chamber. This is kind of a messy process. Let's fill this up the rest of the way. up, you're gonna need your 2-inch section of PVC, 1/2 inch, and you're gonna take your moving bed filter chamber bottle. This 1/2 inch PVC snugly fits into the neck of this bottle. All we need to do is super glue that piece into the bottle. Then we're gonna take our super glue. Be careful using super glue. We're gonna put a little bead all around the outside of this PVC. Okay, so we just take that. That fits into the neck of our bottle, like so. We're gonna take this, set it aside, let that super glue harden. Again, it needs to set. So what we have now is the basic setup for the original filter with the base. Here's our XY280 sponge. Then we take our moving bed chamber with the 1/2 inch PVC. Now is where we take this filter to the next level. That's where the other half of that other bottle comes in handy, the one we've already pre-drilled. What this is going to become is a second chamber to the filter. We've got our original chamber, which has our K1 kaldness. Up here is what's going to have our filter media that is designed to filter out those nitrates. So to create our second chamber of our filter is we take the other half of that bottle, we've cleaned up the edge, made that as level as we possibly can. Take our filter media, that's going to go in there like that, and simply fit right on top of this bottle, just like that. So to attach our two bottles, our top chamber to our bottom chamber, what we're gonna do is we've got a hole drilled on the moving bed chamber and then one hole drilled through the top chamber as well as the moving bed chamber, one on either side, and we're gonna do that so we can run zip ties through that, and I'll show you guys that here in a sec. This is not coming anywhere. The easiest thing to do now is to just snip off the ends of these zip ties, unless you really like the look of extended off zip ties. Beautiful. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for me to introduce what I believe to be the ultimate in do-it-yourself internal air filtration, we like to call it. I don't have a name yet. All right, everybody, here it is. We've got our sponge filter, moving bed chamber, and our chamber up top that holds the media that can host that anaerobic bacteria that filters out those nitrates. I don't know if you know, but the last step in this process is to take this beast and put it in an aquarium. So let's go do that.